show you a couple of tricks for doing this that you can use moving forward. One of them has everything to do with how you create the files in Photoshop. So for example, let's go ahead and open something new. Let's see what I have in here. So here's a file that a student made of their magazine. And so we exported that file. She did it as a PNG. But you'll notice that it's an RGB color. And as a PNG, it's pretty small in size. And that's one option. You could export your cover as a PNG file and drop it in there. Another option is that you can open something. So let's go ahead and go to a different file. Let's use, where am I? Photoshop. So okay, so let's say that I want to take this poster and I want to put it into my design piece. First of all, I don't want to save over this original one, and it's 2.1 megs right now. Not horrible, but not fantastic either, because I don't need it to be that big. So here are just the basic steps when you're moving something from one place to another. The first thing is make sure that you save it as something so you don't save over the original, right? So I might call this something like market poster _ port for portfolio. All right. And then put it in my to be placed folder. And now when I'm placing it into a file, normally I save as a TIFF. So when I'm building this, I tend to build everything as TIFFs, even though you could use JPEGs too. It's just, for me, it works. So JPEG or TIFF shouldn't affect the outcome in the end, especially because of how we're going to build it. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as a TIFF. LZW, IBM, it'll work everywhere, and go ahead and say OK. Now, I want to put it, so let's go to image size. My page is done in pixels. The height of my page is 1024 by 768 or somewhere around there. I'm going to leave it here at 150. That makes it 200 or 2.14 megs, and I'm going to click on OK. But I'm going to do something a little bit different to it to give it a little bit more flexibility. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to index mode, index color. And when I choose index color, I can tell it to be local adaptive and that it should use 256 colors to try to give me the same range. This way, if you open it on a Retina display or you open it on an older cell phone, a newer cell phone, an older iPad, a newer iPad, you should have consistency in color. So no matter what you make it look like, you should have that consistency. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK. All right. And you'll notice that by doing that, I've already gone down to 730K. So I'm much smaller than I was to begin with. So let's go ahead and save this file. And because I changed the color space, it wants to know if I really want to save it. And I do really want to save it. And let's go back into InDesign. And let's go forward to another page. And let's go ahead and say File, Place. So anytime I'm bringing an image that I've worked on in Photoshop, or that I've exported from something other than Illustrator, or if I made something complex in Illustrator and I want it to be a TIFF for some reason, I am going to use that same place command. I can show my import options or not. I'm not replacing anything, so I'm going to create this right here. And then I'm going to find my folder and my to be placed folder. And I'm going to find that market poster. And I'm going to go ahead and say open, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on my page. All right, so now I've got it roughly the size that I want it to be. If I wanted to scale this, I've got a couple of options. Here's the difference between publishing online and publishing in print, is that slight adjustments may work just fine to scale. So you could use your Command Option Shift and you could scale this up slightly. And you're probably not going to see a lot of loss because you're not pixel for pixel, right? You've already got way more pixels than you need. So you're probably going to be pretty good. But if it looks bad here, right? So even if you if you turn off overprint preview, it's going to look a little different anyway. But if you go to overprint preview and it looks good, then chances are it's going to look good when you export it as well. All right? And I just realized the color up there is pretty off, but that's all right. Might be my angle too. So not too bad, but. So once I've got this in here, I can go ahead and work through on those other pages and maintain something that's going to have a reasonably small size, but still look good on screen, right? And it's super easy to check this throughout the process.